Welcome back to FreightWaves Now on this Tuesday morning. We've got our last live interview of the day. This one's a pretty good one. We're talking to Daniel Baca from PortPro about the new technology they're launching to kind of solve some of these issues going on in the ports.
Yeah, absolutely. VP of Carrier Success at PortPro, Daniel Baca. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing well. You know what? Thanks for having me. I'm real excited to be here today. I don't do too many interviews, so
Well, we're honored.
but I feel like it's real important what we're doing at PortPro that we get it out there and let the industry and the public know what we're doing. So, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Well, let's jump into it
Yeah.
then. What are you guys doing there at PortPro? Let's let it out. Let the cat out of the bag.
All right. So
Spill the
what we're
tea.
doing is what we're really solely focused on helping carriers and small business owners manage their business. And what we want to do is provide them a network of opportunities and giving them the ability to run their business from the palm of their hand. Everybody goes to an office, whether it's at home or if it's at the company. The cab is the office for the truck driver. So we want to give them tools so they can better manage their business from their office.
And so you guys have a specialization in the drayage industry. Talk to us a little bit about the decision to specialize there. What drew you to it? What keeps you in it?
Well, we did this because LA Long Beach is one of the biggest and most demanding ports in the United States. So what we want to do is, there's been a big push here to help drivers become independent. There's been a big push for drivers to, start their own business, and there also has been a change in the culture from the days when our dads drove trucks into now their sons are driving trucks, and what they want to do is be business owners. So we want to do is to provide them tools so that way the new generation can go ahead and manage and run their own business.
We were talking about that earlier this morning about how there's kind of this movement of fleet drivers kind of busting out on their own as owner operators because the market for them is so insane right now.
There's so much freight out there. There's so many great tools out there for them to be able to manage their own business, back office tools, et cetera. The things that are not so sexy to be driving a truck that gets them out there and they can go out there and manage their lives. Let's talk a little bit about the drayOS mobile that you guys have there. This is, it says it is not another digital freight broker's app type of scenario. Can you go through what are the key features of this and what does it do?
Correct. I mean, I know there's been a big push and a lot of exposure on these digital freight brokers where they just broker work through an online platform. But we are not a digital freight broker. But I do believe in digital freight. I do believe that the paper processing needs to evolve and go digital. We need to go in that direction. But we are not a broker. So therefore, we're not pushing our work through and kind of sticking our hands in the middle of it. We're giving the trucker the tools they need to provide their customers and their work providers the visibility, and also be able to streamline this operation. So that way, it lets them have more time on their hands to be more efficient. Because running to an office to talk to dispatch, or running to an office to drop off paperwork, or having to take Friday afternoon off so they can create their invoices and do all that, that costs money, and I know they say that's the cost of business, but if my cost of business is high, therefore my revenue goes low. So what we want to do is provide them the tools they need so they can work out of their home office, which is the cab, and complete orders and push the documents through and invoice it to their customers. And also there's all these other advantages that providing and more value that providing through this app as well too. So, maintenance, being able to keep up with their maintenance records, being able to keep up with their banking, being able to understand the work they're getting on another level than just pick up from A to B. They can, look deeper into that type of work and be more efficient in their day.
So this kind of seems like you're giving those drivers kind of a choose your own destiny, right? You're putting the power in their hands. You're letting them make their decisions when it comes to choosing where they want to go and then how they want to process their documents, process their paperwork. Talk about the feedback that you've received so far from those who are using this platform.
Oh, they love it. I mean, they love it. As soon as I introduced it to them, like, you don't even have to go to their office anymore. They were just like, great. Oh, be able to see insight into it instead of getting that information secondhand. They love being able to look it up and be able to do it themselves. It gives them that sense of independence that they need, and they want.
So let's talk, Daniel. Is this just to be clear? Is this more geared towards those independent drivers, or like the drayage fleets using this new platform?
We have a platform called drayOS, and that can be used, on at their office, and they can have their staff work on it and be able to,
Okay.
take advantage of all the same tools. What we're doing now is just taking those tools and adding a little more, personal value to it for the independent contractor, the small business owner, and giving them to be able to do it from the palm of their hand instead of having to pull out their laptop and pull on the side of the road and find an internet connection and all these little things that just kind of just deter them.
And so you guys are having this focus in the ports of Long Beach and LA, like you mentioned at the top of this segment. And California has a lot of uncertainty regarding legislation when it comes to independent contracting, especially around AB5. Talk to us about how this system kind of helps mitigate some of that uncertainty, or how it's going to play into the AB5 legislation, whether that's passed and upheld or ultimately let go.
Yeah, AB5 has been going around for a while now, and everybody's kind of concerned what direction is going to go in, what we're going to do, how these companies are going to respond, what to do. But those are the ones that are on the ladder and they don't know what to do. But there's a lot of guys out there that go out there and start their own business and get their own authority and buy their own truck and work in that space already. So, they're already prepared, they're already ready to go. And what we want to do is just be the tech arm of those guys and provide them, the tools they need. And like you said, give them the power back to the carrier so that way they can, be able to interact and do what they need to do.
So yeah, you mentioned before that it's flexible, both within the office, right? So those fleets can use this, but then you've got these add-ons that make it easy for via your smartphone to be able to operating this now, which makes sense. I mean, you're pretty much set up for whichever way AB5 goes, I would imagine, or what the effects are of it, I should say more accurately. So you are really concentrated there in Southern California, in Long Beach and Los Angeles. Does this tie directly into the ports, and will you be moving out to other ports? There are a few other in the nation as well. What are the plans there?
Yeah, LA Long Beach is my home port. This is where I started. This is where I gained all my knowledge. This is where I worked from. But we are also in New York, New Jersey ports as well too. That's our home terminal. So we work out of there as well.
Got you. So East and West Coast. This is really interesting stuff. So what are you guys seeing in there? There's been a lot of congestion, obviously, at the U.S. ports, especially with the drayage. And you've got now the Biden administration with the executive order or the executive suggestion, if you, depending on who you talk to. But when it comes to the FMC side of it, obviously dealing with the drayage and those ancillary costs that are implied with that, like demurrage and so on and so forth. What do you see in there? What are the trends there?
Well, I've been spending my past couple of years on the ground level here. I'm fighting battles on the ground. So at that level, there's really not much we can do at that level, but what we can do is kind of be able to work with it right now. All these little things such like driver shortages. I wish I could just pick people up, put them through the PortPro system and kick out a bunch of Class A drivers, but I can't do that. Well, at least right now I can't. So our main focus right now is to the ones that are out there and on the battlegrounds, give them the tools they need to be more efficient and get what they done, and deal with, whatever the government administration throw at us, as far as being able to collect data, prove data, validate it, all those things. So being able to be very responsive to the changes is what we need.
So I really like that mentality of being on the ground, sourcing this information and getting a good feel for what's going on, because it's easy to provide conjecture solutions when you're sitting in an office on the opposite side of the country, but you don't really know what your people are truly going through. Do you have any advice or any, perspective on why it's so important to really talk to those people at the ground level and how it can help build your business from the ground up?
Yeah, because that's where a lot of the inefficiencies start at, and then that's where it just becomes a domino effect from right there. So as soon as we get it out, it's how fast can we get it in that driver's hands? You know, how fast that driver can complete it and get it back to us so that way we can let the customer know what's going on, or be able to see the activity at a terminal and then be able to reflect that into the work we have pending, and then be able to make decisions on what's our plan of attack to be more efficient when we're getting these containers out and moving them through. You know, being able to just spot these things at the ground level and change it up, and helping these small business owners, the independent contractors, these small companies, being able to process all this stuff efficiently. So that way it can be done quickly and there's no backlog or back end delays that can slow it down, turn people off, kind of just, you know, not be efficient to the point where it's not even fun to do it anymore.
Like a general leading your troops into battle. Daniel, thank you for joining us this morning on FreightWaves Now. If people want to get in touch with you, find out a little bit more about PortPro, maybe check out the drayOS, where should they go?
Yeah, portpro.io. You can connect with us online right there. You can also reach me at daniel@portpro.io.
Excellent.
Easy
Thank you
peasy.
so much, Daniel.
Thank
Interesting
you.
stuff. We need some good efficiencies there at the ports, and we got people working on that, and the tech is coming, so that's excellent.